from DMArmada is here with me today. Thank you so much for being here.
It is a pleasure to be here. It looks like we're jumping into the game in progress, actually. You were telling me right before we started this that the camera had a little trouble on the first turn or two of the game. So that puts us somewhere in uncharted territory, maybe turn two. It looks like you're about to tick up the tunic, sitting
Yes,
at
that's
20 life
correct.
to his 32.
Yes, and basically in the first turn I just Kano'd Sonic Boom. I whiffed the Sonic Boom trigger with a Iovophidia and then managed to deal another 4 damage. Yeah, that
You
was
don't
pretty
you
cool.
don't love to see the Eye of Ophidia on top, and it looks like he just returned favor with what is that, like a lightning surge in the discard pile, and maybe a couple of other cards to hit you for 10.
Yes, that was the red line Briar, so it's like the Cheerios version, so a lot
Hmm.
of very cheap and powerful attacks that already put me to 220 life after the first turn.
Well, I'm excited to see this. Let's get this thing rolling. I want to see what happens.
There we go. I have the Tunic to 1? No, Tunic to 2, yeah, there we are. So, Tunic to 2, and here I am, preparing to actually play the second turn of the game. And at this point, we are both very tired and very nervous because this is the final. But here, this does not stop me from trying again that Sonic Boom and see if I can actually get that sweet activation that
Well,
you.
I just noticed something. Is he playing no Arcane Barrier minus the skull cap, of course?
Yeah, no arcane barrier. So yeah,
Oh
that's
my
correct.
gosh, you're not kidding about this. This is going to be a quick one.
Yeah, that's
Either you're going to light him on fire or he is going to smash you in the face with things that cost nothing.
yes, that's basically the essence of this kind of game. As you can see, I think that what happened in the first turn is that I played that Ether Spindle because it looked like I
Yeah.
really knew what was on top. And that's a red reverberate that's going at my opponent. That it's actually reading the cards because he never had a Kano game before this one. So it's like the classic part where people are actually going
Oh,
like,
this does
what does it
this?
do?
What does this do? Yeah,
Yeah.
the question, right?
And that's a zap coming off that reverberate, a red zap that is going to put my opponent a bit nearer to my life total. That's 22 to 20. And I arsenal one card past the turn, and I think I'm just happy at the end of this turn because I know that very soon a lot more damage is coming my way.
Yeah, looking at the life total sitting like this and thinking about how Cheerios Briar wants to operate, it's actually interesting playing in like Kano into this because, well, one, they're running a lot of red line cards, so they have less incentive to pitch those away and instead just want to push damage. But two, you actually start at less life, and Cheerios Briar actually wants to kind of play a manipulative life game wherein they have less life on their opponent's turn so that they can block with skullcap and then like whittle the life down on their turn and then back and forth. They want that to be closer, and so as Kano you don't actually allow that game to be played in that way, and so the skullcap here isn't active for your Cheerios Briar opponent. They can't actually pitch into Arcane Barrier
Yeah,
3.
that's actually very relevant. Although I must say, I wouldn't mind starting the game with 40 life against Briar. That wouldn't be
Yeah, I
bad.
don't think I think more people would have liked to start the game at like 50 life against Briar.
Yes, you're right. That definitely that was able to put a lot of pressure on you very quickly, just pulling off turns that seemed kind of way too big, and I think that that's also why the card then after this season saw the ban because it was just a
Hmm.
bit too much. But actually, this opened the metaphor for Kano to come into play. This is the reason why I could play Kano is because Briar actually made Prism not so good
Yeah.
anymore, and Prism was the main foe of Kano. You never want to play Prism.
1000%. Yeah, Prism was just, it felt like an unwinnable matchup on just about every way you sliced it. It felt like you couldn't win that matchup. And
Yeah.
it's because Briar pushed Prism down, you actually had the opportunity to run like what looks up to this point runs the table to get to the finals, right?
Yes, definitely. But there was actually there was like 2 or 3 prism players in the whole tournament. And guess what I played against turn 1 at the beginning of the tournament?
Did you play against Prism?
Yes, sir. That was a prism
Wow,
match.
and picked up the win, huh?
Yes, that it was a lucky win, but nevertheless a win. But it was very, very, very tough. Very tough.
So he pushes a rabble. Wow, why did I just say that in the strangest way possible? He pushes the 4 damage, revealing the lightning press on top, and it does look like that is red lightning press.
It's a red lightning press. It's a red one.
As you would play in the deck. Ravenous Rabble is what I stumbled over moments ago. Coming in now with a ball lightning. And again, all he wants to do is just deal as much possible damage.
Yeah, the game plan is actually very, very red line. Just very linear, and then you're just gonna try to push as much damage as you want, as you can, and especially against Kano, where you know that you're on a clock, like against no other deck. And actually, this you saw that he revealed that that card from the top deck, that lightning press. Revealing that card, then it can actually become very relevant, because now the Kano player, so me, I know that he has that card in hand, and of course I don't feel comfortable playing against a deck with lightning press in it, and it's even less comfortable knowing that your opponent has it in hand, but at least you know it, right? And that's actually very relevant in these kind of high level games.
Yeah, knowing it is sort of a mind game play, because are you going to play it now? Or are you going to play it later? Or are you going to arsenal it down the road? And it looks like he's going to play an Enlighten Strike on you. The question is he going to do draw a card? Is he going to do just push for 7? Because he does have the boots up, I believe. Now, which boots are he running?
He's running the Snapdragon Scalers, but I think he just pushed for 7. There we are.
Yep.
I am at 7. He's at 22.
Wow.
There we are again.
Choosing to drop to 7. This is a similar play that you did in the semifinals that we just watched, right?
Yes. And again, as in the semifinals, this hand I just drew, all reds. All reds. In the turn I am supposed to win, all red cards. And
you know, it just happens that way sometimes. You do your best, but you just end up drawing sometimes.
Actually, this is not the hand. This is like the hand I draw after this one. I'm sorry. I'm spoiling the game. I'm spoiling the commentary.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. I have never actually watched the game. You know what I'm doing is I'm marveling at that national championship playmat. That's beautiful playmat down there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. You're right. Actually, I don't really know what's going on. That's clear also from my commentary. They just have like the match is completely mixed up in my head. It's
like you're coming in with a Crucible lesson in lava, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that we can say for sure. That's a lesson in lava coming, and that's for 4 damage. And I think that at this point of the game, what Kano needs to do here is just to try to get the life difference to be as equal as it may possibly be, because it's very hard to actually get the opponent down to 7. But what you want to do is to try to maximize the damage output you can have in this turn, and
he's gonna let you just waltz through with that. That allows you to go and find whatever card you want, Wizard, I think it's Wizard non-attack action card, and set it on top of the deck. And luckily for you, it looks like you got a 2-card hand still, which means you could Kano whatever that card is off the top and then play it on this turn following. So something like a Blazing Aether might be really good here. What do you end up choosing, do you know?
So I think I did choose Blazing Aether. I think that was the card that I chose after thinking. Here I'm thinking a lot, right? Because I have different line of plays, because I can literally put any card in my deck on the top of the deck. And I was like, oh, do I take Sonic Boom? No, I don't take Sonic Boom. I will take a Blazing Aether, because what I want to do here is just try to push through as much damage as possible. And in this case, this is just an extra 4 damage. That it's just one more. If you compare it to I could have took a red zap and just go for 3 more, but I think I just wanted to really push through as much damage as possible to get him near to that kill zone. That actually the plan here would be I play the card, I arsenal 1 card, and then I just hope that I draw a good blue hand so that I can actually kill off before he kills me. That's
exactly right. Yep.
That's the idea. But of course, Kano decks have not not the perfect capacity of always giving you great hands and all blue cards.
Always giving you blue cards, yeah. So, there's no, you had no resources floating, but I wonder if there was an interesting line where you get another lesson in lava and you pay it with a tunic resource if you had like a 2 blue hand, and then you Kano the lesson in lava, and then you put blazing aether, and then you Kano the blazing aether. That would have been a funny line of play.
Yeah,
if you
that's
could pull
actually
that off.
even, I would say, a very good line of play that you can see here from this commentary that our DMArmada knows what he's saying. He knows the deck, and he knows that Kano should go for this greedy combo where you just get as much damage as possible before actually putting a cherry on top, and that's blazing ether. Yeah, that's a great. That's actually
That would have been a fun line. But this does actually leave you with a 5-card hand too, and you can definitely play for drawing like a quad blue hand and then just jamming down stuff off the top plus whatever you're able to arsenal. Which we don't actually know the arsenal card. We weren't able to see what that was, right?
Yes, I think it's a blazing ether, but it might not be. Maybe it's not.
Oh, interesting.
Because I played one. One, it's on the bottom of the deck, because we saw it just now when I shuffled the deck. There is one blazing at the bottom, and it might be that I have either a snapback or either blazing ether national. I think it's a blazing ether, and I'm just trying to wait for my moment.
Yeah.
And this is when I drew all the red cards, what I mentioned before. This is the moment where I actually I'm in a very tough spot, because
Oh
he has
no,
the
and then
line,
he starts with a plunder run. Is that is that a plunder
yeah,
run
that's a
into
plunder
a ball
run.
lightning?
and he has the lightning press in hand, right?
Yep. Yeah. This is the sinking moment, the sinking feeling.
Yes, this is where I thought, okay, this is where I lose the game. This is I
Yeah, I
don't
could
think
definitely have that understanding.
Yeah, I don't think that there is a worse feeling playing Flesh and Blood than being on Kano on a very low life total and having all red cards in hand. Just like you're staring at your doom.
And you don't quite, I mean, sometimes you can make a quad red hand work if they're low enough, right? Because you do have a tunic resource up. You do have storm striders if you can kind of string something weird together. You can almost pitch away, like a couple of reds to combine with the tunic resource, and then maybe like do some weird like forked lightning play for like 6 damage, but not when they're at 14, right?
Yeah. Then when they are so high in life, you need more. You know that you need more. And there you go. This is I think the best block I've ever done. I thought so much about it. It was actually, there is some cut here, but I really thought a lot of time about this, and I just went blocking 3 extra. I just went over blocking, and knowing that I didn't want him to actually hit me and draw a card out of the plunder run,
Yeah.
because that would just be my doom. And I was just counting my defense, and was like, can I just block everything before I actually get lightning pressed into a crazy Briar turn. And I think
And we do know the lightning press is in the hand, and so that also means that you can peg the other card in his hand as the one that you have to worry about as a follow-up, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. And also the problem is, he's also, now that he played Plunder Run, he has also the Rosetta Thorn active.
Yep.
So that's, either way, no matter how you look at it, a lot of damage is coming my way, and I'm not really in a position where I can actually take a lot of damage.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal either way, from hand or from the Rosetta Thorn. It's gonna come at you one way or the other, isn't it?
Correct. Even if I block with my whole hand, I have still 2 cards, and that's another ball lightning coming at me. Even if I can block it out, I still have to actually take the Rosetta Thorn there.
Yeah, I think you'll always plan to take the Rosetta here, but you do have to just, as much as you can, deny the card draw, because that's where this turn goes wide and kills you, I think.
Yes. Also because in Briar you can draw 1 card and draw another, and So it's that's how the deck goes, right? So that's
Yep.
very important that you block it out there.
And here he's attacking with another ball lightning. I can't quite make out the
It's
color
a
of
blue
that ball
one.
lightning. Is
In
that
this,
it's
it's a blue one, and that's why I blocked the
perfect?
Arcanite and the other one for
Yep.
4 to make sure that
Lightning press can't affect it
yes,
exactly.
and that he uses the tunic to attack with the Rosetta, pushing through damage because he
Mhm.
knows he has to be very fast and push through as much damage as possible. At this point, he's just like, if I survive this turn, next turn the game is mine because I will have 5
Yeah.
cards and he has 3 life.
And,
There's no way that he can block.
and he's at 14. So for you, you have to do something here, and you are able to keep a card, and you are able to throw it down. That is a what, Tome of Aetherwind? It looks like.
Tomb of Etherwind, that's correct.
Yeah.
The plan was I just survive the turn, play the tome, draw 2 cards of the tome, and see if I can do something with Kano.
Yeah.
Just
And
to
that's what you
cheapen
need. You need
it.
to be able to whittle down here. So you need to draw something of note off the top, maybe like 2 blues, so that you can then blue Kano, pitch for Kano, and like play something off the top for some damage and try to get that life total down a little bit.
Yes, that's basically the plan, and it looks like
It's a
it
really tough
works.
spot actually for you to be in.
Yes, it's not a beautiful one at all. That's it. That's I think it's a red one, or is it a blue
Yeah,
one?
I'm not quite sure, but Aether Flare is a decent one to land, and you are able to pay for all of this because you were able to get a blue and a yellow from the draw. So
It
at the
was a
very least, you are able to push that.
That's true, but it was a blue out of flare, so it was just two damage coming through there.
Yep,
And
unfortunate.
not definitely what the Kino player wants to see here. But it's better than nothing, right? It's just a bit nearer to that kill range that you wanna see a player in
Right.
when you're a Kino player. You just
Well, something like now all of a sudden something like a Stir Forked with Metacarpus nodes and like Blazing Aether is like way more open. With at 12 life versus 14, Stir Forked plus Blazing Aether is always super solid. Oh, and he plays a Gorganian Tome.
yes, that hurts. I actually during the playtest I was even considering playing Organic Tome to play it in the mirror to just
To draw 2
to
cards.
draw 2 cards of that one, but that's so risky. It just if you play it
That would
first,
be incredible.
because if you play it in your turn of Kano of the top deck, you even get an action point extra, right? Because of the go again.
It's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
But it's very dangerous because if you play first
Because
against Briar, you lose. It's like out
yeah,
of
they
us.
just get 2. Oh, that would have been so spicy though if you would have run the entire day through with a Gorganian Tome in deck.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Yes. But then the
So
fact
you're
that it doesn't
sitting.
pitch,
Go ahead.
the fact that it doesn't pitch, it's just it
Oh
doesn't do
yeah, it
anything.
hurts really hard.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah, it's worse than a red card in hand. It's a dead card in hand.
yes, correct. So yeah, I'm sitting at 3, contemplating how do I do this? Is there any way for me to actually get this game? And and I think that my opponent is thinking the same here. I think that on the other side of the table is like, what do I do here? Is there a way that I can actually close the game this turn
Yeah.
and actually become the champion? I think that's
Let's see.
basically
He's
what's
sitting there
going on.
holding a Ravenous Rabble. I can't quite make out some of the other cards in hand, but at least he doesn't have. He's not stuck with the quad red hand version of Briar, which is a all non-attacks hand. So at the very least, he doesn't have that going for him. He does look like he has a ball lightning as well. So he
Yeah.
can definitely string together something here. And with no real arcane barrier options, it's interesting that there's this much of a thought process that's going into it. It's not like he's got any counterplay as far as stopping what you can do.
Yeah.
But it's an exude that really is making him think about it. That's interesting.
Yes, I don't think also that we were both tired, and you before you do anything in such a game, you just want to be sure that you don't make any mistakes. So in this case, I
Yep.
just Kano in response, and I found a red reverberate off the top. That's definitely a card I want to see, especially against an opponent that does not run Arcane Barrier.
Yeah. Red Reverberate opens up your hand so much.
And there, look at me, look at me. I'm counting on my hand just to make sure that's the
Dude, that
level.
is exactly what I do at the end of Kano games too. At that point, my brain is mush, and I just have to use my fingers.
Yes, yes. At that point, I was just so scared to. You know how many times I messed up counting with Kano and lost games. Imagine if that would be the case here. I just
Well, I
really
don't know how
wanted to
many
make
times
sure.
you've done it, but I know how many times I've done it. So, and it's a lot. The answer is a lot of times. So here you're going to metacarpus node on the reverberate, which is
Yes.
going to allow you to buff that by 1. And of course, it's going to push damage no matter what because he's not going to be able to stop it. But it does mean that you can continue that metacarpus node line if you have the resources for it from anything
Yes.
else from hand.
And I did not use the crucible here because I think that I want to use the crucible on that card.
Oh, that's exactly right. If you have an Aether Flare that you can play from hand, then you definitely want to Aether Flare it. Especially if what you said earlier is true and that that Arsenal card is a Blazing Aether.
Yes, I think so. I think that in this case, I just wanted to. I mean, this is overkill at this point because it's coming for.
Oh yeah, if
Yeah,
that's a Blazing Aether,
yeah.
that's an
That's
easy
another
game, right?
13 more damage that's coming off of the arsenal. And in all of this, I was making sure that he couldn't use the arcane barrier tree. I mean, in this case, it's not really important, but you need to be careful if that
No,
wouldn't be
it's
an
very
effect.
wise, yeah.
But in this case, it's just it's a blazing ether, and that's it. I guess that I'm just explaining. I
Oh
think
my
I'm
gosh.
recounting just another extra. I think it's 13. That yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
15,
that is an
16,
insane
15.
amount
Yes.
of damage. And that's honestly, that's like kind of a middling hand for damage. But you're maximizing your usages on Metacarpus nodes, linking into Aether Flare, allowing you to then just max damage with the card at the end, the Blazing Aether. And that, sir, picks you up the win, making you the national champion, I should say. How does that feel?